What's going on, guys? It's your boy PokePond back with another video for you. So much to talk about today. We are seeing massive price swings to the upside on crazy sets right now, like 151, Prismatic. We're going to get into all of that, but we're also going to point out some really obscure plays that are going on in the market that no one else is looking at right now. That's why you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. Okay, it's that time of the week again where we get to sit down and have a look at all of the data, all of the prices changing in the sealed market for Pokemon at the moment. As a general market sentiment at the moment, I feel like we are in a golden age of sealed product right now. We are in a hype cycle that has been going for a long time, but I don't see it ending anytime soon. I still think we've got at least 12 months of insane growth ahead of us. Pretty much every product that's already out now as well, I think is going to be safe from any kind of crash in the future. I do think that any kind of crash that may happen or return to MSRP will be on sets that haven't released yet. Potentially the next set to come out, Perfect Order, may sit for around MSRP, but then if they release a good set after that, I expect to be trading for more of a premium on release. There are a lot of people right now online, other content creators, making easy videos about 151's exploding, Prismatic Evolution's exploding. It seems like those are the two sets everyone's talking about at the moment. It would be very easy for me to sit here and just make a 10-minute video saying, oh, buy 151. Okay, we all know that. We have been saying that here on the channel for a long time before it started breaking out that 151 is one of the best buys. It's going out of rotation, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's not what we do here on the channel. Although 151 and Prismatic are great buys right now and they are breaking out, let's focus on the whole market, what's going on. And I'm actually going to talk about some plays that people really aren't talking about at all on this channel and, well, on YouTube as a whole. So that is what this channel is all about. We're going to go through everything, but we're going to start off with the newest, hottest sets. Ascended Heroes is obviously what we've got to talk about first because it's the newest set that's out. So, Ascended Heroes. I like this as a set. I have been slowly buying into Ascended Heroes. I've bought PC ETBs. I'm drip feeding some money into it because I see the potential of it in the long term. However, I'm not a massive fan of getting a large position in the PC ETBs or the Elite Trainer boxes personally. And that's all down to personal circumstances. For me, I struggle nowadays. I'm at a stage in my collecting and investing now where I want to try and avoid ETBs as possible. I allow myself to have a few PC ETBs because they have a higher value to size density ratio. And that's something a lot of new sealed collectors and investors don't think about. But when you've been doing this a long time, even if you have a lot of space, and I was talking about this to one of the members of my YouTube Join Club as well, that it doesn't matter if you have the space now, because if you keep buying ETBs over the next 4 or 5 years, that space is going to fill up very, very quickly. And Ascended Heroes is one of those sets that has so much potential in not just the short term, but also the long term as well, that if I'm going to buy ETBs of Ascended Heroes, I don't want to be forced into a position where I've got to liquidate them in 2 years' time as they're going out of print and take a small profit because I'm running out of space. And this is what you really need to start thinking about as well. It's not just how much space you have now, how much space are you going to have in 2 years when Ascended Heroes goes out of print? And for me personally, I'm already quite tight on space because I am paying for external space away from the house to store my sealed. So it's very much an equation in my head that space costs me extra money because I've got to rent the extra space. Now, for some of you guys, that's not going to be an issue. For some of you, you know, you are just looking into moving into 1 ETB or 2 ETBs or something like that. I'm at a stage now in my investing and collecting, and don't get me wrong, I used to be at that stage too, but once you've been doing this for a while, your wealth just you keep rolling the money back in and you can afford to get bigger positions. Believe me, I don't come from privilege, I don't come from wealth. It's just from doing this for a long time and just rolling the money back in. So for me personally, I'm waiting for the bundles. Like I said, I've bought a few PCETBs. They are already showing massive gains, but I want to hold them for many, many, many years, like 5 years or something like that, minimum. So I don't want to buy a load of normal ETBs just because they take up so much space. I would much rather wait and move into the bundles when they come out at the end of April, because the bundles are so much easier to store. And I feel like in the future, they're just going to have so much of a better cost to size ratio than the ETBs, or at least the normal ETBs, not the PC ETBs. So that's where I'm at with Ascended Heroes. I do think it's a really good set. I'm looking forward to moving into it with a nice heavy position. I'm slowly picking up a few deals here and there if I'm seeing it on PC ETBs, but I'm waiting. I'm trying to hold the load, so to speak, and we're going to bust as soon as the bundles drop. Like, I'm talking opening week of the bundles coming out, the last week of April, we're going crazy. We're buying up all the bundles, whatever market price is on eBay right then, because it doesn't matter, because the bundles are small enough that I can keep them for a long amount of time, half a decade, serious amounts of time on there. So it doesn't matter what price I pay on release date. It really doesn't. Obviously, if they're crazy price, I won't buy it, and then the ETB is more attractive. But I really like Ascended Heroes as a set. I just think that, for me personally, buying into loads of the normal ETBs right now might be a good short flip or short-term play for some people. That's just personally not how I do things. I like to hold things for a long amount of time. I don't like the value of the ETBs. Personally, I would much rather make less money on the bundles, have less growth in the long term, but be able to just pile them to the ceiling and store them a lot easier. That's just where I'm at personally, though. But as a set as a whole, great. So if you want to move into some ETBs or some PC ETBs or whatever products you like, I do recommend it. I do think it's a good set. In fact, the ETBs are a really good price right now. You can see on the TCG player chart that they have been coming down, which is what we kind of expected. This is why I told people not to pre-order anything at a premium before it even comes out, because this is usually what you see on a release is, prices slowly start to come back down to where they should be. Last sold on TCG, on eBay US is $96.95. I've been telling people that if you see sub $100 Ascended Heroes ETBs, that is an amazing price to move into. And I think that is going to look really cheap in a couple of years' time. You do need to be aware, and I say this every single week, that there are ebbs and flows in the market. Okay, this is probably not the cheapest price we will ever see, but I think it's going to be close to it. So moving in at this price point at around about the $100 mark, it doesn't matter whether you get a great deal and you get it for $97, or you have to pay a little bit more on a buy it now and pay $107. Here's another one. Look, these are all sales from today or yesterday in the US. $95, $108. I think that that's a really good price point, and I don't think it's going to get much cheaper than that. In the short term, it might, okay? In the next 3 months, they might release a massive wave and it drops down to $80 for a few weeks. Great, buy more of them. That's fine. But for this price point, if you're holding that for multiple years, I think you're going to do very well. You're going to 3x, 4x, 5x your money, depending on how long you hold it for. There's no doubt in my mind that eventually that goes to a $500 Elite Trainer box. Just the normal Elite Trainer box. And part of the reason why I feel so strongly about that is just look at how some of the other modern era Elite Trainer boxes are running. Just look at 151. 151's not even out of print yet and it's doing crazy numbers. Now, I'm not trying to compare Ascended Heroes to 151 because I think that it's unlikely that it will reach the $500 in the same time frame that 151's done it. 151's done it in a very short amount of time. but it will get there eventually. And as long as you are willing to have the patience and hold this, this will go to $500 a box. I'm very confident in that. But it might be 3 years, it might be 5 years until it does that. But I'm happy to wait that long. But like I said, I've got a few PCETBs personally. I'm holding until I get the bundles out. Last sold, eBay UK. Again, don't think it's going to get much cheaper. 73 quid. I mean, you're all in about 75 quid for a nice delivered one. That's not bad, guys. And you can see here, PCETBs are already up to 200 quid. And again, I don't think that's a bad deal. I was buying these for 140. And like, we're not talking about a long time ago. This was a couple of weeks ago. I was buying these and scooping these up for 140. So, you know, it is what it is. But I personally think that we're going to get good deals on the bundles in April. Right, let's move on. Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames is a set that everybody loved to hate, and now they're very quiet about it because it's performing very, very well. Now, the charts have been kind of broken on TCG Player, but I've checked my video from last week, and we can see that the last sold last week on the 28th was $322. And we can have a look at last sold, $330. So it is right up there at all-time highs. And look at this. This is $330 on an auction as well. You are getting some people that are dumping below market. So someone got one sub $300 there, $290 on a buy it now. So someone did very well out of that. And it's all about just knowing the market, knowing your prices, and knowing that when this comes up as a buy it now, you can see it's a new listing tag. Someone just jumps on it because they can see, they know the value. They know that that is, you know, like over 10% below where market should be, and it's a nice minty box. So just jump on it. There's way too many people in the hobby right now who just don't get these prices. They don't understand. I don't know whether they're waiting for MSRP or not. They see $290 for a Phantasmal box and they're like, oh, that's way too expensive for what that should be. But then there's people, these people that are bidding up to $330 that then see it for $290 and they're like, oh, wicked, you know, like 12, 13% off of market. Amazing. And this is on the same day as well. And it's all about recognizing as well, like what I like to call sheep behavior. The majority of the Pokemon hobby and the people who buy sealed product are sheep. They follow what they're told. They follow and echo what the normal sentiments are going out in the market, that Phantasmal's overpriced and everything's going to go back to MSRP. They don't actually know that it's not going to. Okay, you guys right here are very special, privileged people. Okay, even if you just found my channel for the first time now, you are already way ahead of the whole market. The fact that you're even looking into this kind of content, you are way above everyone. And it's people like you guys that jump on these $290 boxes because they just know that that's easy money straight away. You know, you're into your position already 10% below market. And what's really, really interesting about this $330 price point as well is we have now actually officially breached double MSRP in the US for Phantasmal Flames. And I warned people, I told people, subscribers on the channel will know that I was saying day one, before it even released, that Phantasmal Flames is going to be a monster. Like, I really don't understand why everyone in the hobby agreed that that's one of the best Charizard cards that's ever come out, and yet they didn't expect the booster box to do this. Like, it's just crazy to me. It really is. But we will move on because we're going down a tangent and we don't want to throw shade on people or call the entire hobby idiots too much. Just a little bit. But it's fine. And that's not having an ego, and that's not down talking on anyone. It's really not. It's just having an understanding that most people don't look into this kind of detail with pricing, so they don't understand why boxes are instantly selling for $289. They just see $289, they're like, whoa, that's nearly double what I'm willing to pay. That's crazy, and they move on. And they're probably, you know, they're focused on Ascended Heroes right now and opening Ascended Heroes, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine to be part of that side of the hobby And that is the majority of people. It really is. The actual people who listen to this kind of content and listen to sealed stuff. I mean, the perfect way to look at it is we've been having this channel for nearly 3 years. We have been accurately, like really, really accurately predicting price movements for nearly 3 years solid for many sets. You can see how many tabs I've got open. Many sets every single 7 days. And we're accurately predicting it. We're making loads of people money because I know, because you guys talk to me. You tell me in the comments that you guys have made loads of money from my advice. And we are outperforming so many investment portfolios around the world. We're outperforming the stock market, gold, silver, ETFs, a lot of cryptocurrencies. It's crazy, guys, but we're just coming up to 5,000 subs. That shows you how small we are in the hobby compared to the majority of the hobby who just want to buy sealed, open packs, don't understand why this costs this much. And it's important to realize where we are in the hobby and really how small we are. We are very much a vocal minority here, and understanding that will actually really help you as well. Paying attention to this kind of content, I will each and every week let you know what's going on. And that's why you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. And you will see later on in this episode as well, I will point out some crazy plays to you that no one else is talking about. I guarantee we've got some really obscure plays coming up later on in this episode. But we need to carry on with the banger sets just to keep everyone updated. I like Phantasmal Flames. Even at this price point, I like Phantasmal Flames. Because, again, like, I'm here for the long haul. So it's like, yeah, I could spend $330 on a booster box and pay all-time highs for it. But I know the booster box is going to go to $2,500 within the next 5 years. So it's like, why do I care whether I have to spend $330 at an all-time high or I pay $250, you know, a few weeks ago? I'm happy to keep buying in at these price points because I know where it's going in the long term. Right, last sold in the UK, 240 quid. Again, it just looks really cheap. Like, there's not that many booster boxes that you can get for that kind of price range. And Phantasmal, I'm telling you, is a monster set. In time, once this starts going out of print and starts having a real run, prices are going to go crazy on this. They really, really are. There's already a shortage of boxes. What's going to happen in 2 years' time? Okay, people have moved on. Like all the pack openers, all the sheep people have all moved on. They'll probably be in a new era by then. They'll be in the Gen 10 era, collecting their Pomeranian starters and all sorts of other nonsense. We'll probably have another Charizard chase card set by then, almost guaranteed. I'd put money on it. And they'll all be talking about that and about how that's going to be a rubbish set and Darkness Ablaze Part 3. And do you know what I mean? Like, not many people appreciate how cheap this is. It looks expensive now. Time will be the real test with this. Like I said, calling it now. 5 years from now, okay, maybe a little bit more. Maybe 6 years. But it could get there in 5 years. Plus $2,000 a box, I reckon. Like, honestly, like, I do see that happening. Right, let's move on, because we're going a bit crazy. We're getting off on a tangent here. We're only on set 3, right? Set 3 of the episode. Mega Evolution. We've still got to go through all of 151 Prismatic, and I've still got to show you my crazy plays that are coming up as well. Mega Evolution, we said it was massively undervalued. There just hasn't been this big reprint or restock of booster boxes. I would love to see that. Historically as well, like base set booster boxes were always like mass printed. They would always sit on shelves for like way below retail for a long time as well. And we're just not seeing that with Mega Evolution base set, which just really leads into two things. One, it's strong. I like the set. It's good and it's varied and it's fun to open. Number two, there's just not enough supply of it. And like, I really do think that in the grand scheme of things, even though we're more than likely to get more waves of Mega Evolution base set booster box, I don't think it'll be enough, and I don't think enough people are putting these away right now. Just look at the prices of what they're doing right now. Last week it was at $276. This week is at $280. So it's not up much. It's up a couple of percent. However, $280 for a base set booster box. Like, let's just zoom out and think about what that actually means. Okay, that is now more expensive than Journey, Surgeon, Paradox, Temporal. Maybe, no, it's not as, I mean, it's not far off like Obsidian and Twilight. They're not that far ahead of it. Like, base set booster box, base set Mega Evolution should be sat way below retail. If you look at other base sets historically, it should be printed into the ground, it should be readily available, and it's not. That, to me, is a green flag. That is a pre-warning that this will be a very expensive booster box in the future. And it's right up there at all-time highs, and it's slowly climbing as well. It's crazy, guys. Let's see. Last sold, eBay US. $300 yesterday on an auction as well. $300 for a base set booster box. Madness. Last sold eBay UK. 263 auction. And then look at this dump here. 208. Buy it now. That's such a swing in price between the auction there. These are both from this morning here in the UK as well. It's only 10 a.m. This has happened this morning before 10 a.m. So early hours of the morning. 263 on an auction or 208. Someone just dumping it, getting out of their position. Look, here's another one. 104. Actually, those are two half boxes. Ignore that. No, that's one half box for 104. Sorry, ignore that. Right. 208 and 263 is crazy swing in price. What even is that? That is 52? Yeah, 52 divided by 208. That's a 25% swing. And the cheaper one is the buy it now as well from this morning. People aren't paying attention to what's clearly staring them in the face. People are so narrow-minded in this hobby. The majority of people, that's why I call them sheep people. It's nothing against them. I don't hate on anyone in the hobby. I love everyone. However, when it comes to sealed product, you get people dumping. And that makes so many opportunities for us. This was on a buy it now as well. That's crazy. 208. There aren't many boxes you can buy right now for 208 in the UK. Kind of crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals has seen a reduction in price this week, which is brilliant. However, the sky is not falling. It is consolidating from a massive run up in price. Okay, it jumped up. Look at this, 40% in like 2 weeks, from way over retail, from like $400. It went right up to, it started knocking on the door of $600, which is nuts. So to see it come down a little bit now and be trading for like $515, $520, that kind of range, brilliant. Perfectly normal, perfectly expected to see after such a run up in price. I would be concerned if it dropped straight back down to $400. And this was just an artificial run up, and then the market rejected it and it dropped straight down. It's not though. It's just corrected back down to where the market is, which is still over $500 a box. It's still over, you know, what a Silver Tempest sealed Sword and Shield set is, a top 5 set from Sword and Shield. Like, this is nuts, guys. This is still the most insane set right now. I think that it's positive that it's consolidated down a little bit. It's just on sale. It's still the best box. It's still going to be a multi-$1,000 box in a couple of years. So, you know, you just get a 10% discount now on its all-time high. It's going to bounce back. It really is. And you can see on eBay, even on eBay from yesterday, it's still right up there. It's still within 10% of its all-time high when it had such a massive surge up there as well and went so quickly. This is the fastest growing booster box of all time. I'm pretty sure I'm safe in saying that. So yeah, it's just crazy to me that I'm sure some people will make some content this week and say, "Oh, Destin Rivals, you were stupid if you bought it at 570." No, you're not, because in 2-3 years time, 4-5 years time, what's the price going to be? Question mark. But it's going to be a lot more than $520. I would happily buy in even more at this price range. Again, it's a hold for the long term. Destin Rivals is a monster. And I think what people don't realize as well is Destin Rivals isn't even a year old yet. It hasn't even had its time to run. Historically, boxes start to run when they start going out of print. 2.5 years after they have been released. Destin Rivals isn't even a year old yet. And it's trading at way over $500. It's more expensive than some of the top sets of Sword and Shield era. There's only 4 sets that are more expensive than it in Sword and Shield. We got 5. Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Evolving Skies, Chilling Reign, and Brilliant Stars. Those are the only sets from the previous era that are more expensive than Destin Rivals right now. And I'm telling you, Destin Rivals is coming for Brilliant Stars next. That will be a really, really strong indicator of where things are going in the long term if Destin Rivals overtakes Brilliant Stars. And I see it happening this year. I really do. But I also think Brilliant Stars is going to have a good run this year. Last sold eBay UK, 400 quid. Bargains. I've been buying these for 400 quid. So yeah, quite happy buying in at that price point. Destin Rivals is a monster. Talking about monsters, let's talk about Prismatic Evolutions. A lot of people are finally starting to open their eyes up to Prismatic Evolutions. Still not enough though, okay? It is still cheap, even though it keeps going up in value. Every single week we check back and I tell you it's more expensive. Okay, I keep saying the best time to invest in Prismatic Evolutions was weeks ago. The next best time is today. Okay, it really is. Where do you think this box is going to go? Okay, 151 is paving the way for it. It really is. The Sunbreon is the most ridiculous card in the modern era right now. The prices of that thing in a PSA 10 is nuts. The amount of potential value you can pull from a prismatic pack, yes, it's very unlikely, but people love a gamble. People love opening a set. Ripping shippers love it. They sell out of it straight away because there's that possibility you can hit it big. That's what people like. Prismatic, I'm telling you, it's still just getting going. Last week, it was $178. I told you to buy it when it was $100. I keep telling you every week, at every stage. Here, I told you at 115. I told you at 125. I told you at 135. I told you at 145. I'm telling you now, you can still buy in. It's still sub $200. This is only going to get bigger and faster and crazier over the next couple of years. Believe me, this box is going to go insane. It's going to be more than double this price in the next couple of years. More. It's going to push way over $500 a box. I'm very confident in that. I personally think we're going to see $1,000 prismatic ETB. I don't know when that'll be though. Like, that will be years from now. Be that 2 years potentially if it has a really good run. Might be 5 years. Might be 8 years. But I think we see $1,000 prismatic ETB. I think that world is a world that we see. So yeah, you can buy in, still sub $200, and it just keeps going up week on week on week. Last week, $178. This week, $196. So what's that, 18? That's nearly a 10% rise on Prismatic this week. And it's still just getting going, I'm telling you. Last sold, eBay US. Look at this, $180. New listing tag, buy it now, $200. And look at this, someone scooped one. These are one of the recent ones. Look, the Dollar Tree General tag on here for $40. This wave released not that long ago as well. Now it's going for $200. Paid, sold, crazy, and it's just getting going. 151 is paving the way for it. Last sold eBay UK 150 quid, 146 quid. Like, I'm telling you, people are starting to wake up to it, but still the masses haven't woken up. The masses won't wake up to prismatic until it gets to $300, $400 a box. Then they'll go, oh yeah, like, oh, I should have bought that. Well, then that was $100. Well, yeah, you should have done, but you didn't. Oh, I should have bought that when it was $200. Well, yeah, you should have been. Time will either make people look amazing because their predictions come true, or they will make fools of people. And generally, time makes fools of people because it is very hard to predict where things go long term. And I might make it look easy. I might do, but you're seeing this now. If you go back through other content creators' content of predictions that they've made, a lot of them got a lot of certs wrong and told you not to buy things that you should have bought. And a lot of them aren't accountable for their own actions as well. And those that are, they'll apologize. They'll make one little video and say, oh, sorry, I got it wrong. And it's like, yeah, but you just cost so many people a massive opportunity, or you told them to buy something that they shouldn't have bought. Like, there's so much responsibility with doing what I do, and way too many people just come along, want to be an influencer. You get what you get with me, okay? It is data. It is accurate predictions as best I can from using the data. My job, my day job, is a data analyst. I do this for a living, okay? I'm not here to be a flashy YouTuber with a flashy thumbnail of me going like this or something like that, or me going pow to the screen. That's not me, okay? Those are gimmicks. I would not put my money with an influencer, okay? I'm not an influencer. I'm teaching you guys to read the data, read the market, and also be aware of your surroundings as well. We are the very few people in the market that really can see what's going on with this. And there are massive opportunities right now. This is why I'm saying it's a golden age of sealed product. If you know what you're doing, you have the time to be able to hold this as well, and you make wise decisions, you will be massively financially rewarded from this. You really, really will. I am proof of that. Like I said, I don't come from much, and my collection has just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I would probably say that my collection, the amount of money that I've actually put into my collection compared to my collection value is probably less than 10%. So my collection's more than 10x'd what I've initially put in, but I've done that over nearly a decade this year, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way as well. I've made a lot of plays I shouldn't have made. I've made losses on some products. That's okay to do as well. It's okay to take a loss on product if you got it wrong, okay, and then reallocate that capital into something that's going to do better. I have sold Elite Trainer boxes for a loss. I've sold Battle Styles for a loss. I've sold Vivid Voltage for a loss. I've sold Shining Fates for a loss, just because I liquidated them early, because I realized a little bit further in that that wasn't the best place to have my money. That's okay to do as long as you reallocate it back into the hobby. Anyway, I'm waffling. PokePond story time. It happens every week. I can't stop myself. I really can't. 151. Another monster set right now. Really doing bits right now. See, this is what I'm talking about the massive waking up to it. Now 151 is going out of print. the masses are starting to pile into it. We're starting to see volatile price action, really sharp gains, and I think we'll continue to as well. This is the blueprint for where Prismatic is going. I'm telling you, this is paving the way. The smart money is buying up Prismatic right now, and Powder and Fates as well, and that kind of thing. But 151 is leading the way. I love 151. I've got loads of 151 bundles. I've got a couple of ETBs as well. I bought into them for a lot cheaper because I knew it was going to do this once people start waking up. It's getting a bit rich for my blood now, personally. Personally, I think now it's still fine to buy into 151 if you don't have any, because it will continue to go up. In the short term and in the long term, it's a monster. You can't lose with it. However, I like to move into sets that haven't started running properly yet, like Prismatic. I would much rather scoop a Prismatic ETB for 150 quid than a 151 ETB right now. Now, the 151 ETB is going to perform really well, but so will the Prismatic. You wait until the Prismatic starts going out of print and starts doing this as well. Don't get me wrong, though. Prismatic is great. I recommend anyone invest into it. But me personally, I'm so confident in stuff like Prismatic and Ascended Heroes bundles when they come out, and they'll be cheaper as well. That's where I'm putting my money personally. I've already piled in. I already have a massive position in 151. I don't need to expand it now. But if you're not already into it and you like 151, I do think it's a really good play as well. 482 last week. 594 now, so it's up $106 on 482. 106 divided by 482, I bet that's about 25%. 21.9%. 151 ETBs are up apparently this week. $600 new listing tag as well, bought out straight away. Another one here, 692. 600 PC ETB with a tear going for $1,300. Crazy. Yeah, still a monster, still a really good set to buy into. If you can't afford it as well, buy the bundles. Okay, 389 quid in the UK for a normal ETB of 151. That's going to look really cheap soon as well. That will push up. Again, I think this is $1,000 ETB. When it gets there, I don't know. Will it take a year to get there? Possibly, if it does really well. Will it take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? The more time that goes on, the more likely it's hit that 1K mark. So as long as you have the patience to be able to buy these and put these away, and you don't have a time that you have to sell it by, you will hit that number that you want to hit. You will hit that $1,000, I guarantee. Obviously, I say I guarantee. You can never guarantee anything. We are all investing in shiny cardboard at the end of the day. It could all go to zero. That is a possibility, although I think that is very unlikely. But we've got to say it. You know, we really do, because some people will put money in that they can't afford to lose, and you shouldn't ever do that. You know, this should be money that you have set aside either for investing or saving, or it's just sat in the bank. And me personally, right, I never talk about this, but even if one person watching this gets something out of this, then I think that that's important. Okay, the way I do it is I have an emergency fund, which people talk about, but I have an emergency fund that's much bigger than a lot of people probably usually keep as an emergency fund. So what I tend to do is, in my normal current account or checking account, I tend to have at least 3 months of my average monthly expenditure just sat there in cash, getting no interest, earning no money, because that's the number that I am comfortable with having as immediate money that I can pull out. I can help family. I can do whatever I want if I need to. If I really need to, I can grab my passport. I can run to the airport. I can just swipe my card, get on a plane, go anywhere in the world, and I can survive for 3 months. Okay. And that might sound a bit extreme, but that's what I like to keep. Okay. As long as you have that as a minimum, I also have savings too, but if you have that as a minimum, that's when you can start, you know, investing into other things, buying more Pokemon product and stuff like that. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, and don't get me wrong, I was when I started doing this. When I started buying my first booster boxes at the end of the XY era and the start of the Sun and Moon era, I was struggling to pay my rent, I was struggling to feed myself, and I was still buying sealed stuff. That's a madness, okay? I do not recommend you do that at all. But I did. I was there, so I understand that. I understand the struggle. And I'm not saying you've got to keep thousands in your checking account, but find the number that works for you, that you're comfortable with. And then anything above that, it doesn't matter then if the Pokemon sealed market drops a bit short term. We could have a year where all of my sealed product drops down in value and my whole collection value just starts plummeting down. It doesn't make a difference to my lifestyle because I'm not reliant on having to have the money from those boxes to be able to have the lifestyle that I do. Okay. And I've never really said that before on the channel, and I think it's important that I do because I'm sure at least a couple of people watching will get something from that. Anyway, $599 for the normal 151 ETB. I expect that to keep going, to be honest. May drop a little bit in the short term, but if you hold that for multiple years, you're laughing. Like I said, if you can't afford it, then the bundles are going crazy as well. Look at this. The prices are all over the place because they're going up so quick. Look, $180, buy it now, last sold yesterday. $425 for 3. Quite often when I buy bundles, and I quite like buying bundles, is because you can buy like multiples of them. I tend to buy them in lots of 3 or 6 or whatever, because you're then able to spend more. It's only one sale to try and get through. Bundles generally are quite hardy as well. The seals are usually quite good on them, and they don't really like dent or crush as much. Like they tend to just survive a bit more in the post. So buying 3, 4, 6, 10 at a time even. I've never bought 10 at a time. I think the most I've bought is like 5 151 bundles in one sale. But look, you can sometimes get deals. So like 425 divided by 3. Someone paid 141 a box for those, which is below what everyone else is paying. Look at this, same day auction, 163. Now I'm not saying bundles should bundle deals. It's bundle deals of bundles. I'm not saying when you buy multiples it should be cheaper, but me personally, if market's this 163, 165, and I want to buy a few of them, I'm happy to pay full market for the 3, as long as they come all together, because it's just easier. So I'd be willing to pay up to like $489 for that if I was moving into bundles today. So someone got a really good deal there, and it was on a new listing tag. So again, like people just knew their prices, saw that as a deal. It's well, let's see, 163 to 169. That's $17, 10% below market or something like that on like the hottest product right now. I need to make clear as well, because I keep getting comments asking me, why don't I ever talk about bundles? Why don't I ever talk about 3 blister packs, stuff like that? Okay, I cover the most desirable product of each set. Okay, when I'm looking at the booster boxes or the elite trainer boxes of any set, elite trainer boxes for holiday sets, because they don't have booster boxes, that is generally the most traded commodity within that set, and it is generally the safest bet for the highest gains. Now, yes, PCETBs often outperform, but I'm not going to track the price changes of a PCETB because I don't think that gives a fair value of how the set's performing. I think if you take the booster box or the normal ETB, you can do a full analysis of how good the set is, because the PC ETB can move erratically depending on how much there are, because they're a lot more limited. So that can give an artificial look to the set when really it's just because the PC ETB is more limited, and that's why it's increasing so rapidly. So just because I'm talking about a booster box or an elite trainer box, and I think that that's the best thing that you move into, doesn't mean that there aren't other plays that might make you more money or might make you less money or whatever. Okay, I quite often buy bundles of all sorts of sets. I quite often buy sleeved packs, stuff like that. I just don't think that they will perform as well. And if I say a set's good on my analysis, you can buy any sealed product and you will probably make money. It just depends what you can see, for what price, what you want. Again, like I said, I'm trying to reduce the amount of ETBs I've got because I'm trying to conserve space. I'm also always consolidating now as well. So I'm like selling older booster boxes from like early Sword and Shield to move out of them, to move into higher value Sword and Shield boxes, to reduce down my size. And again, these are all just like personal things in my collection, okay? Just because I talk about an elite trainer box or a booster box doesn't mean there's not other products you can buy to do well. And especially if you're starting to get priced out of 151 elite trainer boxes, the bundles are a really good option. They really, really are. Do you know what I'd love to see as well, which they never brought out? Why don't we have sleeved packs of holiday sets? Why don't we have sleeved booster packs of 151, of Powder and Face? Those would go hard. They really would. I'd like to see that. Yeah, really disappointed that they don't have them. I love sleeved booster packs. I regularly buy them of all sets. Anyway, Journey Together. Let's move on. Journey Together is kind of climbing up in price a little bit, I guess. I mean, last week it was at 252. Couple of sales for like 274, 270. But then when we look at eBay, it's still 245 on an auction. So possibly starting to move, but the secondary market's still cheap. That is a nice minty enhanced box as well, sold yesterday for 245, which is a really good deal for it. I think that the floor of the market now we need to accept is like 250. So anything sub 250 for any sets is really good value right now. I do, like I said earlier, expect Perfect Order to break that mold. Okay, I think that Perfect Order is going to come out cheap and possibly continue to reduce down. I certainly wouldn't be putting in any pre-orders right now for Perfect Order booster boxes over retail. I mean, there's a good chance it comes out with a little bit of premium over retail, but you're playing a risky game if you're pre-ordering Perfect Order booster boxes for like over $200. Just saying. Journey Together is a slightly above average set. I actually bought one for retail like about 2 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. Maybe not even that long. And there's a lot of them in the UK right now. The non-enhanced versions, they just got a big restock. 165, 172, 162. That's not far off retail. And that's just because there's a lot available in the UK right now. That will dry up. I think that that's not a bad price point to move into Journey Together. Journey Together, Surgeon Sparks, Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, all of these sets as booster boxes, you can get into them fairly cheap right now. But the way I look at them is they are momentum sets. Okay? When the market for Scarlet and Violet as a whole starts rising, which it will over time, it will naturally happen, those sets will start to gain momentum and will start to increase in price. You will make money buying in now to Journey Together, Surgeon, Paradox, Temporal. They will not make you rich overnight. But if you have extra space and extra capital and you want to move into a set for a relatively cheap price point, then these are not bad as trade bait for the future. Okay, you can see this as an investment. I mean, you can see everything as an investment, but these are, you know, a slightly better version than keeping just cash in the bank. They're pretty safe to move into because they're cheap, especially if you're in the UK. If you're in the UK, look, you're paying nearly retail. What's that going to be in 2 years' time? Even if it doesn't go up much, that's going to be over 200 quid a box. in a couple of years' time, easily. So that's one of the ways that you can roll money into your collection and grow it over time. Okay, my focus is on Destin, Prismatic, 151, all those things right now, all the hot sets. However, I'm happy to pick one of these up for retail right now because I don't have to hold that for 5 years. Okay, in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, I can trade that in at 80% and use it as trade bait. And I don't know, how much did I pay? Like 150 quid that I paid for it is then worth 300 in trade towards something else, a hotter set in a couple of years' time. That's the way to really look at these sets. And you can really increase your collection value over time. It's all about time, guys. It really is. And Surging Sparks is another great example of that. I would actually much prefer Surging Sparks right now than Journey, but it just depends what price point you can pick it up. I saw Journey at retail. If I just saw Surgeon at retail side by side, I would buy the Surgeon. Yeah, so it's holding at around about 260 here in the US. Last sold on TCG last week was on the averages 265. Right now it's 262. A couple of sales 270, 283. They're in a good position to climb. They just need time. These are boxes where you don't make a massive position into them. You buy a few of them, a small percentage of your collection, and you just sit on them. You put them in the back of a storage box and you just forget about them for a couple of years. And then you pull them out when they're $500 a box and you use them for trade bait towards something that you really want. Okay. Last sold eBay US 240. Like I said, 240, 250 is cheap for anything right now. And Surgeon is a slightly above average set. These will perform pretty well. It's going to go to over $500 a box. It's going to take a couple of years for it to get there. I'm quite happy to shift on some of my Journey or Surgeon once it hits $500 a box because I paid retail for them. So it's fine. But even if you buy in now at 250, you know, you might eat, 20% or something. But if this doubles up to 500, you're still winning over a couple of years. Last sold eBay UK 209, really cheap, really cheap. And look at these, some sleeved packs. See, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, these aren't sleeve packs, these are loose booster packs. Now, this is not as much of a play. Personally, I'm not a fan of buying loose packs. I have done in the past, and I have made money from it. This was one of the ways I started out when I didn't have a lot of money. I would never buy a big lot like this of booster packs. But what I used to do is I used to know my prices so well, and I used to sit on eBay and I used to look at auctions ending for loose booster packs of any set, any of the sets right now, and I would know what the prices are for each one. If I knew that a set like, I don't know, back then, like Rebel Clash was going for £3 for a loose booster pack with free postage, I would be bidding like 280 on all of them and like stalking them. And it used to be a fun game when I didn't have much money, and I could be like, oh, I just got some packs for like 280, 290, and I just kept them in a storage box. And then years and years later, I sold them all at 80% to an LCS, and I made a load of money on them. So it's fine. Like, I would be very cautious about buying loose booster packs for any kind of serious value, though, because then you run the risk of it being tampered with, because there's a gain in them doing it. Okay, if you're trying to buy an Evolving Skies loose pack, I'd be cautious. It's not that you can't, but I'd be cautious. I used to sit there and buy like Evolutions booster packs when they were like 10 quid, and then they went up to like 20 quid. And that's about the max that I would pay for a loose booster pack, unless I knew it was a trusted person. But as far as like, I mean, this is a lot, but if you're talking about like just a single pack of like Surgeon Sparks, if that's going for like $4.99 or something like that, and you're putting in a bid of $4.50, it's not impossible, but no one's really resealing that. Do you know what I mean? For $4, because then they have to pay fees and postage. There's not the money in it. They would much rather sit and try and fake an Evolving Skies pack and make $40. Do you see what I mean? So you are kind of safe. And people say, oh yeah, but you can't sell loose booster packs. You can. You really can. as like I said, as long as you're safe and you buy packs very close to when they come out, so you're pretty much paying retail for them, you're pretty safe. But I prefer sleeved packs personally. And again, they can be tampered with as well, but it's just a little bit less likely, a little bit more liquid as well. Anyway, we're going off into stories again. We're only like just over halfway through the tabs as well. We need to get cracking with this. Okay, Powder and Fate's Elite Trainer Box. I have said for months that this is massively undervalued. It has continued to climb up in price. Powder and Fate's Elite Trainer Box is one of the best looking Elite Trainer boxes of pretty much all eras, I think. I love this box. I think that 151 is really paving the way for it as well. And I think this set is going to be really expensive in the future, particularly this ETB. And we're starting to see some volatile price action on it, which is great. Love to see it when predictions come true. $307, which was an all-time high last week. Now it's up to $350. So that's up, what was it at? 307 to 350. So it's up $43 on 307. 43 divided by 307. It's up 14% in the last week. Honestly, where's this set going to be in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now? It's going to do bits. It really is. Again, I think Powder and Fates, we're in a golden era right now that you can pick this stuff up. Even right now at $300+. I think this becomes over $1,000 box. So I'm more than happy to have this in my collection. Last sold, eBay US, $310. PC ETB going for $425. That's a good deal. They just keep going up week on week on week on week. They really do. Last sold, eBay UK, $260. $230. Another one here. PC ETB going for $281. Read description. Fishy when they put that. At least they warn you. Let's read the description together. Let's see what it says. I bet it's got a tear. Please note that outer plastic shrink wrap has a small rip, but the box itself remains sealed and untouched. Well, I'm not buying it then. Should we see the rip? Should we see how bad it is? Personally, I'm not buying anything ripped. Did they actually take a photo of the rip? Is that it there? Is that the rip at the bottom? It's hard to tell whether that's the light or that's the rip. Personally, if I was selling that, I'd put a big red circle around that. I mean, he is selling it for below market. No, there's a rip there. That's probably the rip there. It's just not worth it getting a box a bit cheaper with a rip on it. Because, A, you'll struggle to sell that for anywhere near market when that gets more expensive. And, like, if you've got to think that, like, a rip is not only going to reduce your customer base in the future, you're then going to have to sell it for 10 to 20% below market. When that becomes $1,000 box, 20% below market is $200 you've just thrown away. Do you see what I mean? Like, that's what people don't think about. They're like, oh yeah, but I got a good deal. It's still technically sealed. Yeah, but people like me, I won't touch anything with a rip. And I'll eBay return it on you as well. So you'll have to deal with that too. And eBay will have my back on that. Let's move on. Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift, Temporal, all of them kind of all crashed in like the TCG player sale. They've all gone back down to like 250, but then you're getting odd sales at like 270, 280. Prices are all over the place for them. Let's just have a look at eBay. 260. Last sold for a very minty box of Paradox Rift. Without looking at the photos, just looking at that first bit there, that is a very minty box. If you're going to buy a sealed box, and look at this, he's got loads in the background as well. That's also concerning when there's other boxes in the background. I mean, they're different sets. That's Temporal. Is it bad that I know these? This is Destined Rivals. I can tell from the side of them. That's Journey Together because it's got the blue packs there. What's that one? What box do you think that is, guys? With the blue on the side like that. It's not Journey. Is that the side of Surging? Because is that the Executor on the side? It could be Stellar, actually. Oh, this is a fun game. I'm putting myself to the test. Is that Stellar Crown? It's so hard to tell just from the side of that. I think they're all Scarlet and Violet boxes. What's this one? That's Obsidian. You can see the little thing there. So we've basically got one of each, and they all look in really good condition. But what I was going to say is be cautious if all of these in the background are Paradox Rift. And the thing you want to look out for is if they're selling multiples of it. Because what they do is they take the photo of the best box, and then the one you get shipped probably isn't the best box. But yeah, guy looks after them. Looks good. Shout out to them. That is a very well looked after minty box. So yeah, someone scooped it for 260. I think 260 is quite fair for that. Like I said, market floor is about 240, 250. I think it's slowly rising up to that 260 range. So buy it now, 260. Nice sealed box. That's good. Last sold, eBay UK. Look at this. 190 all in for Paradox Rift. That's so cheap. Again, one of the cheapest boxes here in the UK right now. That looks quite minty as well, actually. Should we have a little look at it? Why not? While we're here. Again, another nice minty box of Paradox Rift. A little bit of a mark on that there. Probably just a bit of dust or speck. I would definitely clean that off if I was taking a photo of that, though. I don't like this as well. Like, there's nothing super wrong about this, but this is how picky I am, right? I don't like it when people take a photo of a sealed product and it's on carpet, because I'm going to look at your carpet in detail and I'm going to see, I mean, it does look fairly recently hoovered, but look at these. Look at these like bits of dust and rubbish on your carpet, and that's going on my box. It is not hard to, if you're going to sell on eBay and you're going to get into Pokemon and stuff like that, buy yourself the cheapest playmat that's going. Okay, which is probably, I don't know what it is right now, but it's probably the one from the Charizard UPC. That playmat, people just sell them on their own. And they're good for opening cards on as well. You'll pay like, I don't know, like $5 for that posted on eBay. Maybe a little bit more. Just buy one of them and use it as a backing to take photos of your stuff. Don't put sealed product onto carpet and stuff like that, or onto your beds. Or we don't want to see that. Just have a nice playmat, keep it nice, keep it in a drawer or something like that. You can roll it up. Honestly, that's my best bit of advice. And if you're going to open up cards, you want something nice to open them up onto as well. But yeah, that's just me being picky. To be honest, the carpet's quite clean, but that just puts me off a bit. I'm just like, well, that looks a bit dirty. You know, what are the chances that you washed your hands before you handled that? That's another thing as well. So, like, I've heard other content creators saying that you're doing too much if when you put stuff into a container to keep sealed for years, you're doing too much if you clean out the container and you put silica gel packs in there to keep the moisture out. Honestly, it's just fine on a shelf. And it's like, yeah, it probably would be, but when you're talking about having multiple tens of thousands in your collection of sealed, and you're having boxes like Evolving Skies that are pushing up over like $3,000 a box, then I'm not just keeping that on a shelf, mate. Like, that really annoys me when people say that. And I probably do go overboard, but I see it as just money. Like, these boxes are expensive and they're fragile as well. Why would you not protect them? Me personally, whenever I buy boxes and stuff like that, I always wash my hands before I handle my sealed product, because you've got bacteria, mold, and all sorts on your hands. Like, all sorts. And if then you're putting that into a sealed container and then not checking on it for months and months at a time, that can cause issues. So I always just wash my hands, and I don't like seeing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, the carpet especially, people could have been walking around on that in their bare feet, and now you've got a foot box. See, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a bit of a germaphobe when it comes to that kind of thing. But like, how often have you actually washed your carpet? Like, I mean, yes, you hoovered it, but when was the last time you washed it? And how many times have you walked on it in barefoot, bare sweaty feet, or like sweaty socks since you've done that? Honestly, that would put me off buying that box, just thinking about it. And a lot of people don't think about that kind of thing, but yeah, I don't want to handle a foot box of Paradox Rift. Look at that. That's a big piece of something. What's that on their carpet? Can you even see that on camera? You can. Is that a piece of crisp? Is that, or for you Americans, is that a chip? Come on, guys. That's not needed. That's really put me off this box. I'm going to be analysing everyone's carpet now. Do you know what? I'm single-handedly going to break the sealed market because everyone now, all of you guys, are going to stop buying boxes if they're on carpet. I mean, it's fine. You could buy it, but it just puts me off as well. And what's that photo about as well? It's barely taking up half of the photo. It's more of a photo of the carpet than the box. And the box isn't even straight. It's just poor effort from this person. Anyway, let's move on. We're just having a bit of fun with it. Right. Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces again had like the weird kind of sale on TCG a week or two ago. Had a bit of a price correction. I did say to you guys that it looked a little bit overvalued at the time. It's come back down to around about 250, 260. That's about where I think it should be. Last sold eBay US though, 270. So it's still up there on eBay. There's another one here, like 244, but that's an import from the UK. They're weird, like the international imports. It just does weird things. Okay, the 270 is a best offer as well. So market should be a little bit cheaper. Here's one. 230 on an auction. That's actually a really good deal. Whoever scooped that up yesterday has got a little bit of a dent on the corner there, a little bit of a roll, but that's really nothing to worry about at all. Nice, good, positive bulge on the box as well. That does happen sometimes as well. Just shows that it's got a nice tight seal as well, which we do like. Pretty decent box, to be honest. I don't see any issues with that. And for $230, that's a really good deal. I think anything under $240 is a good deal for anything right now, particularly Scarlet and Violet boxes. Let's move on then. Oh, sorry. Last sold eBay UK 190, 187. It's still just really cheap temporal. Again, trade bait for the future. If you want to move into a cheap set, personally, I'd rather buy Journey or Surgeon or something like that for a similar price. But I do own temporal, bought it for retail. Hold it for a couple of years, use it as a trade towards something else in the future. It's not like a mega long hold for me. It's not like a hold for 10 years like I might do with some of my Destined and Evolving Skies and stuff. Right, let's move on. Shrouded Fable. I very rarely talk about Shrouded Fable, and I also have a lot of people that say, you know, oh, why don't you ever talk about Black and White? Like, it's not that you won't make money on those sealed sets. It's just A, they're not moving much at the moment, so there's nothing to talk about. And B, even if you're like, oh yeah, but what about the long term? All sealed product does fine in the long term. Okay, that's why sealed product is so good. But I don't recommend you invest into Black and White. I do think it will perform well over time, and you will make money if you buy it. Don't get me wrong. However, I think there's better places to put your money, like Prismatic and stuff like that, and 151. Shrouded Fable, I very rarely talk about. It is probably one of the least desirable sets of the era. It's probably, if you look at the least desirable sets of other eras, it's probably not going to perform too well over the long term. The pack price is actually quite high for it, for like rip and ships, but the sealed product as a whole is not super desirable. I actually think the box is quite cool. I own no Shrouded Fable product. I kind of wish I did. I really hummed and hawed about buying into Shrouded Fable display cases because they were really cheap at a time. They were like 25 quid or like, I don't know, $30, $35 a box it worked out at. And that's the only time I'd buy like display cases of bundles because there was no premium. It was just 10x the cost of the bundle. And I kind of regret not buying into it. Instead, I bought into other hotter sets, which is fine. And now the bundles have gone up quite a bit in price. So I don't think it's a great entry point for the bundles right now. However, when things start moving and there's weird plays in the market, I'm always going to let you know when I notice them. And that's what this channel is all about. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the episode, that I'm going to point out some weird, obscure plays to you. Because no one is talking about Shrouded Fable right now. No one. And even if they are, they're not talking about what I'm about to talk about right here. Okay. So, Shrouded Fable When TCG Player had their sale the other day, they sold in 2 days 709 units of the ETBs, because that would mean that these worked out cheaper with the sale. Now, what that means is that it went from $73 a box on the averages to $90 on the last sale. Now, there's not a lot of $90 sales, but they are popping up. $85, $89, $84, $80, $89. So it does look like it's starting to move. But because no one's eyes are on it, there are deals to be had in the market, and you can get in at some crazy price points, because you're always going to get people that are dumping. And if people aren't looking at Shrouded Fable right now, then the dump sets, or the dump boxes even, are easier to pick up because there's less competition. And I'm telling you right now, you can scoop up deals on Shrouded Fable. And it's not a bad looking box, to be honest. And it is slowly starting to climb now because it is starting to get older. $82 last sold eBay US. That's on an auction as well. Buy it now, same day, 75. So you can already see it starting to open up. Now, what's really interesting here is the difference in price. Okay, $82 for the normal box, $135 for the PC ETB. Now, that makes it one of the cheapest PC ETBs of the era. Fair enough. And you might think, oh yeah, well, there's not much of a market for who wants a PC ETB of Shrouded Fable. There is always a market for sealed product. I think that these are going to become quite rare in the future as well. I don't expect you to get rich on them, but why am I pointing this out to you guys? Well, A, it's starting to move a little bit. B, is this. And this is purely aimed at my UK customers, or UK customers? UK subscribers. Customers, God. I don't actually sell anything. I don't have a store. I don't have a TCG, so no one's a customer. Anyway, look at this. Auction, normal box, 75 quid. 77 all in, okay? In fact, 78 all in. Look at what this PC ETB sold for yesterday. The PC ETB sold for 93. So 78 on an auction for the normal one, 93 for the PC ETB. So for 15 quid extra, you can scoop a PC ETB, or someone did. Now, I'm not saying you can get this all the time. It's not a best offer as well. We can see it's Pokemon Center. And if this is a minty box, like I said, sometimes it's about the plays no one's looking at right now. It is a nice looking box as well. If I'd have seen this sooner, I would have bought that myself. And that would be my first piece of Shrouded Fable that I own. That is a very obscure play that no one's looking at right now. 93 quid, 15 quid more than the normal ETB is an insane deal. And look at this. Yesterday as well. Similar thing. PC ETB and a bundle for 125. Well, if we've already decided that the normal box is 78, then for, what's that, 23, for an extra 58 quid, you get a bundle and you get an upgrade to a PC ETB. That's a pretty good deal. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes there's dumps on products that people aren't expecting. And I do expect those to rise over time. Again, you're not going to get rich overnight with that. But if you put that into the back of your collection, into a storage box, and you forget about that for 5, 6, 7 years, that'll do all right. And what's really interesting as well is I started looking at some of the ETBs for like the worst sets of Sword and Shield. One of the worst performing ETBs is Battle Styles. And that is still going for like 70 quid. As old as it is now, the red and blue ETB boxes. That is something that I took a loss on, by the way. I pre-ordered that for what did I pre-order that for? Like 50 quid on release, the blue box. And then I sold it like a year later for 45 quid plus fees. So I ended up losing on that, but I don't care. I was happy to get out of that set. Anyway, Shrouded Fable, the normal ETB is already performing better than Battlestar's ETB that is years older. So I don't think Shrouded Fable is quite as bad as people make out. And if you can get a crazy deal like this, where someone's dumping a PC ETB for only 15 quid more than the market of the normal one, that's a very good deal. And that's a very good deal that no one is talking about. And it's not like that happened a few weeks ago. These happened yesterday, okay, less than 24 hours ago. So keep an eye out on some of these obscure sets. I definitely would have bought that. If I'd have seen that for 93 quid, a nice sealed PC ETB, that is really nice. And you don't see them that often, especially for that kind of price range. I like it as well. That's a nice display piece. I'm not the biggest fan of Shrouded Fable. It was a bit of a joke set when it came out, but I don't know. That is cool. That is very cool. Anyway, let's move on. To Sword and Shield. The King of the Jungle himself, Mr. Evolving Skies. Not much change over the last week, but look at this. Right, 4 sales over the last week since the 28th. Look at these price ranges on TCG. Look, they're going up on TCG over time. Look at this. So out of the 4 sales, 2700, 2713, 2694, 26. So that's 4 sales right on 26, 27. It's definitely creeping up, but eBay, you're still getting dumps and deals. 2200. Crazy. Really, really cheap. Last sold eBay UK. 21.25. So it's right up there still on the UK, but still getting dumps on the US one. Honestly, all of Sword and Shield, like the top sets, they're not really moving that much right now. But they're all in a really good position. I think they're all going to have a really good run this year. When the run starts, I don't know. It might start this month. They might not run until the summer. They might not run until autumn. But they will run. And even if they don't run this year, they run in 2027. Again, once you're into these kind of boxes, it's a long-term thing. Do you know what I mean? You're going to hold it for multiple years. The people that are buying these for 2200, they're not quick flipping that. Unless they're ripping shipping and making money on that, or just opening it out of degeneracy. I mean, you're crazy if you're paying 2,200 for a box and you're just opening that private. Like, as in, you're not even making any content out of it or anything. That's mad. But some people will. And that's another box off the market. But in my personal opinion, someone's buying that for 2,200 and they're putting that away off the market for at least 2-3 years. At least. I'd like to see them do it for longer, but you don't know. And every day, more and more boxes of these are going off the market. It's just there's not the attention on them right now. But there will be. There will be. It always comes back around. And once these guys run again, it's going to go crazy. It really is. Let's move on then. Fusion Strike. Not much to talk about with Fusion Strike. Been sat at $1,000 for a long time. Right at its all-time high. Positive for it to constantly be selling for that kind of range. eBay US. 2075. That is a best offer accepted. 1100. That's a best offer accepted. Actual sales 962 on an auction. So these are creeping up as well, because we were seeing auctions over the last few weeks selling as low as like 820, that kind of thing. So for auctions to be pushing up near that $1,000 range as well, that consolidation of price swing is getting smaller and smaller and tighter. And anyone who knows anything about stock market trading or anything, once the bands start getting closer and the range between buy and sell starts getting really tight, you get that pressure, and then boom, it's so like set and just ready to have that run up. Like I said, it might be this month, it might be 3 months from now, it might be 6 months, it might be 8 months from now. But all of these Sword and Shield sets are going to run soon. And then people will be like, oh yeah, now I'll buy into it when Evolving's 5k a box. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are so stupid when it comes to like when they invest. Like, the majority of people in this market invest when it's already had its big run, because they FOMO into it. Like, they, bet the house on Destined Rivals when it's 2K a box. You know, they don't buy into it now when it's like $500. Do you see what I mean? They're like, oh no, it's overvalued. Same with Phantasmal. It was the exact same thing. It's crazy. Last sold Fusion Strike UK 797. Not the most expensive we've seen it sell for. We've seen a few sales up over 800, but it's right up there. It really is. Lost Origin, not much change. Flat at an all-time high. Again, poised. 720. Brilliant Stars, flat, poised. Knocking on the door of 600 again. 579. Silver Tempest. Chart is broken, but knocking on the door of 500 again, which is great. Cheaper than Destin Rivals right now. Crazy. Crown Zenith. No one told Crown Zenith to slow down. Crown Zenith wasn't aware that Sword and Shield's on hold right now. Honestly, I say this every week for like the last 3 years. Crown Zenith is one of the safest places to put your money for steady gains. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. It's up quite a bit this week, actually. Last week, 272. This week, 282. So it's up 12, which is like 4.5%. Just keeps going. Like it's just so consistent. Last sold eBay US. Prices are all over the place on eBay. Look at this. 265 auction. 208 buy it now, new listing. Someone just bought that out. That's a dump. And that's a dump like what? $47 below market? Nearly 20% below market dump. Of course someone bought that straight away. 265 new listing, bought out straight away. Market just keeps going up and up. Again, you buy Crown Zenith, you're not going to get rich overnight. You put that away for a couple of years, that pushes up over 500 a box. There's no way it doesn't, especially when 151's leading the way and pushing up over 500 a box. Last sold eBay UK 213, 224, 225. Like, people need to stop trying to time the market. People will say to me, oh, what's the best price to buy in at Crown Zenith? I've seen it go as low as 213. Should I wait for another box at 210? 210 is what I'm confident buying. Buying for more. Get a nice sealed one for 230. Pay all-time high. It doesn't matter. Put that away for a couple of years. It's 500 a box. So who cares? Let's finish off the episode. I like to palette cleanse at the end and point out something weird that's selling in the market. And here's again another play that no one is talking about. No one I have seen is talking about this or making these kind of comparisons live as they are happening. Okay. Evolving Skies PC ETBs. Look at these prices. Okay, these are not best offers as well. These are sales. Look, sale, not best offer. The Vaporeon one, $1,250. The Umbreon one, $1,050 for the PC ETB now. They've gone up a lot. However, I wanted to point out something interesting to you guys. Okay, you see those prices? You think they look high for Evolving Skies PC ETB? Look at this. 151 PC ETB. $1,400. And you're like, this was from yesterday. And you're like, yeah, okay, but that's best offer accepted. Yeah, you'd be right. And then, oh, look, there's $1,300. Yeah, that's best offer accepted. Yeah, you'd be right. But let's keep going down, shall we? $1,150. Best offer accepted. Yesterday, $1,399. Sold. No best offer accepted. Yesterday, $1,400 for an in-print 151 PC ETB. Here's another one. $1,550. There's no best offer here. Someone paid this yesterday. $1,550 for a PC ETB of 151 that's in print, technically for another month. I mean, they're not going to make any more of it, but technically they could. But look at that price. Now let's look back at the Evolving Skies PC ETBs. what looked expensive is now looking pretty cheap to me. I think that this is a massively undervalued play right now. I'll leave it on that. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Did you enjoy the analysis on the Evolving Skies PCETBs, on the Shrouded Fable PCETBs? Definitely plays to be had in the market. Make sure you like the video. That's all I ask. It really does help me out. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and peace.